everyone, it's Meg and welcome to another reading vlog. So for today's reading vlog it is going to be themed, and that is going to be reading some of my favourite childhood books. And this video has gone around for a while now. I think Books in Lala was the original creator. I'm not entirely sure, but I know she's done it. I think Nicole from Beautiful Chaos of Books has done it, Kira's done it from Kira Foster, and I know Meg has done it as well. And I have been really in the mood to do it. I have just finished filming my outro for my last vlog for the Mental Health Reform, which is, if you've watched that vlog, that's why I'm in the same outfit. But obviously I've been reading mental health books throughout the entirety of May, and I want something a bit lighter because obviously the mental health books are generally quite heavy. So what better way to have a change of pace than to read some of my favourite childhood books? And I'm very excited. I have 3 books that I'm going to be reading for this vlog, and they are all very different to a certain extent. And to be honest with you, a lot of the books I used to read as a child were horsey related, and you guys probably don't want to watch me read loads of horse books. But these were definitely some of my favourite books that I had, and they're all kind of different age ranges, even though they're all still children. And then I kind of think the last book is kind of heading into like the very, very young side of YA, or really old side of middle grade. But I will share with you guys the books that I am planning on reading. So the first book I'm planning on reading is Sophie in the Saddle by Dick King-Smith. This is actually a collection of the stories, as there is 6 books, and this is the collection of the last 3. And this was like my favourite series growing up. I wanted to be Sophie. This is basically about a girl named Sophie. These books start when she is about 4 or 5, and then they finish when she's 7. And Sophie is animal mad. She wants to be what she calls a lady farmer, and she wants to have a farm and all these animals. Like, she has a little piggy bank with like funding to raise money for her farm. And Sophie is just the best. She's very much a tomboy. She was me. I wanted to be Sophie when I was her age, and I actually had a cassette tape for the audiobook for Sophie in the Saddle, and I used to listen to it every night before bed, and I actually listened to it so much that it broke. So yeah, and I'm really excited. I have actually already started this. I started it this morning, and like, the nostalgia is real. Like, it just bringing back all the different characters in this story, and kind of the thing about Sophie, like about how she wants all these like the names of the animals that she wants and her pets that she has. That she has a puppy called Puddle, and a black cat called Tomboy, and a white rabbit called Beano, and how she wants all these other animals. And oh, it's just like, and her brothers, like older twin brothers, I forgot about like their teasing of her as well. And just, oh my god, there's just so much. It's just all flooding back to me. And yeah, I'm so excited to be reading this. I'm going to take my time with it. I'm going to take my time with all these books because obviously I want to enjoy them, but I have been adoring this. I've only up to page 33. The first Sophie in the Saddle is only 99 pages long, so it shouldn't take me very long to read. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to carry on with this. Like, everything, all the memories with the stories just flooding back to me now, and I just love it. So this is the first book I'm going to be reading. The second book I'm going to be reading is kind of like in the mid, like a little bit older, and that is Gothic Goddess by Carrie Bright, and this is part of the Maddie Blue trilogy. This is actually the second book. I have the first and third book even here, which is Jealousy Junkie, which is the first book, and Desert Diva, which is the third book. And my aunt got me into this series because she used to be a librarian, so she would go to lots of events and meet lots of authors. So this book is actually signed. That's how I got into it, and I really enjoyed it. But this was my favourite because I wasn't a goth. I was like a wannabe goth in my childhood, and I adored this book so much. This trilogy is about a girl named Maddie Blue who is obsessed with magazines, and all the books are kind of in the format of magazines. Like they have like little like tips and quizzes and all that sort of thing. It's really interesting, and obviously this one is about it's like goth related, and from what I can remember, because I have read this book more than once, but obviously it's been a very long time since I read it, and I know that this is about Maddie, and she is reading a goth magazine, and she finds out that she auditions for something and she wants to get the lead role because she really likes the guy who is a goth. And I think they go to Whitby as well, because Whitby is where the goth festival is. I think it's Whitby at any rate. And it's like a romance sort of thing, and it was just so much fun, especially my inner wannabe goth really loved this. And I know I should technically read the first book for this challenge because I haven't read this book in such a long time, so I should get familiar with the characters, but I'm just going to read this because I love it. I really enjoyed it. It was like hands down my favourite book of the series, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. And then the last book that I'm going to be reading for this video is 32C That's Me by Chris Higgins, and I'm not really advanced in middle grade. I'm guessing this is like the very oldest side of middle grade or the very youngest side of YA, or kind of in between, because it's about a girl in year 9 and it covers topics that I don't think would be necessarily discussed in middle grade. I'm not very advanced, so I don't know, but I can't remember much about this, but I'll read you the back. It says, "Who says you can't always get what you want? If you have luck on your side. I wanted to go out with the best looking guy in school, and now I am. I wanted the lead in the school play, and I got it. Life doesn't get better than that. Until one day a simple phone message turns the best day of your life into the worst, and things won't ever be the same again." So I can't even remember the name of the character in here, but I remember it's about this character, and she is in year 9 and she gets the lead role in Romeo and Juliet, and I think something happens with her mum. I know what it is, but I'm not going to spoil you guys for it. And it's kind of that ride, and yeah, it's just all that. And I remember really enjoying this. This is another book I have read more than once as well, but obviously again not read in ages, but another one I'm definitely looking forward to. So these are the books I am planning on reading for this vlog. I'm very excited to be reading all of them and just dive back into them. I'm most looking forward to Gothic Goddess, not gonna lie, but I'm really looking forward to reading them and seeing what I think. And I thought it'd just be really fun to film this experience, since I've really loved some of the other videos that are like this that I've watched before, so I thought I would do one as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I am going to go about my day, and then I will update you when I've made more progress with Sophie in the Saddle. So it is actually the next day, and I have finished my first book, which is Sophie in the Saddle by Dick King-Smith, and this didn't take very long to read at all. The text is rather big, and also this particular story was only 99 pages, so it didn't take me very long, and I really enjoyed this so much. I probably haven't read the series since I was old enough to read them, or when I was a child. Like, I must have been like 10 at the most, or even younger, from the last time that I read this book, so it's been a very long time, and I just adored it so much. I forgot how amazing these characters are. Like, Sophie is just such a wonderful protagonist, and her view on the world, she's so stubborn yet determined, and I love how much she loves her animals, and she's so determined to be a farmer. And I can kind of tell you guys what this story is about now because I've read it and I actually remember, because this story in particular is about Sophie, who goes and her family go on a holiday to Cornwall, and they stay at a farm, and Sophie gets to ride a horse for the first time, and she's always wanted to be a horsewoman, as she calls herself, and it's just so lovely and charming, and it's just great. I wanted to be Sophie when I grow up, and it's just amazing to be back with them. I'm not going to read the rest of the stories in here for this video, but I think I would definitely have to return to them very soon because I just adored them so much. So obviously this was a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored it, and I will have to show you some of the illustrations because the illustrations just make this like
they are great. If I can actually find a decent one, I will show you.
These are some of the illustrations. So that's one of Sophie and her brothers. There is one there, like a farm one, and they're just so charming. Like, Sophie is just such a great character. Like, look at her. Look at her storming off there. She's just great. I love this book so much. I love Sophie so much. This book and just Sophie's adventures in general just meant so much to me as a child, and I just adore this so much. So I'm so glad I decided to reread it for this video. So yes, first one complete, which is very exciting. Now I'm going to move on to the book that's kind of like in the middle in terms of like age range, which is Gothic Goddess, which is the second book in the Maddie Blue trilogy, and this is probably the one I'm most excited for, apart from Sophie's adventures, because like I said in the last clip, I used to be like a wannabe goth, and I loved, like, I full on took all these little magazine article things really seriously and the tips and stuff, so I'm really looking forward to starting this. I'll probably start it before I go to bed this evening, but I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. So this is the next book that I'm going to be starting, and like I said, I'll probably start it at some point this evening before I go to bed. So it's a couple of days later, and I finished Gothic Goddess by Carrie Bright, and this was just such a wonderful, great read. Again, I know I didn't update you guys like whilst I was reading it, but number one, it wasn't very long. It was like just over 150 pages. And also I've just not been feeling like vlogging over the past few days, so I'm sorry about that. But I will tell you my thoughts obviously on this book now, and this was just so much fun. Like, I love these books. Like I said, this is definitely my favourite one of the trilogy, which is why I chose to read it for this vlog. But I'm very tempted to read the other books now. I'm tempted to go and read the third one after I have read the final book for this video, because they're just so much fun and easy, and I find it really interesting because obviously these are like children and middle grade books, but so you kind of, to a certain extent, when you're older, you think that you might not enjoy them as much because obviously you won't necessarily be able to relate to the characters, or like the writing style is a bit young. Obviously it's aimed at a younger audience, but with this I feel like I still managed to just enjoy it as much. I wasn't obsessed with like the goth stuff as much, probably because like my goth stage has long gone by now, but I just love it. I love the characters, and I love how obvious the characters are kind of, I don't know if mature exactly, but obviously in this story I can tell you a bit more about it now because obviously I've read it. Like I said, it's about Maddie before, and she loves magazines, and she discovers this magazine called Lost Soul, which deals with like magic and spells and like witchcraft and like all that sort of thing, like that sort of stuff, and she gets obsessed with it. She reads her fortune on it about how somebody is meant to come to life, about a true love coming in. She doesn't believe it, and then this goth guy appears and she believes that he is meant to be her true love, and he is creating a film called Lady and the Vamp, which is like Romeo and Juliet but vampires. So she basically turns herself into a goth and uses this magazine to try and obviously get him, but it doesn't all go to plan. And I love the concept, is just so much fun, and I love the articles in here. I will show you, but some of them I don't know how accurate they are now I go back to reading it, because obviously back then I wasn't critical reader at all, so I was just like soaking everything up in this book. But I don't know how accurate some of the goth stuff is. I'd like to think it is, but I don't know how accurate it is on like the goth community and all that sort of thing. I can't obviously speak for that, but like I said, there's more stuff. So there's like tarot tips, there's even a love spell in here. I'm sure not everything is 100% accurate, but I just think it's really cool. And this thing about power animals, and it was just really fun. And I like how Maddie is like, obviously she's going for her own thing, trying to get this guy, and then she had one of her best friends, Star, is going through a rough spot at the moment with her family, and Maddie could be quite selfish, obviously, because she's in the situation trying to get this guy and not caring about her friend and how she's going through, but she does really care about her, and she does take what she wants to do into her consideration with like her friend's situation, like making sure that she is there for her friend, which I really like. And obviously it could totally be the other way around, and Maddie could not care about Star's feelings and how she is at the moment at all, but she does care about her, which I really like. And they don't Carrie doesn't dumb down the characters in this, which I really enjoy. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. This is just such a wonderful series. I love having like the magazine aspects in here. I think it's so much fun. I love having books with like illustrations in them, or like little bits like that. Like, I think it's just so much fun. So I'm really glad I got to read it, and I might pick up the other books from the series after I finish this video. So that is my second book finished, and yesterday I finished my second book. So I started my third book last night, which is 32C, That's Me by Chris Higgins, and I am on page 39, and I'm still enjoying this. And obviously this is like, actually I guess this and the Maddie series are probably similar age ranges. This is set, our main character Jess is in year 9, and I guess Maddie must either be in year 8 or year 9, one or the other. I'm guessing she must be around year 9 maybe. So I guess they're kind of similar ages, but these obviously deal with quite different topics. And this is sort of a coming of age story now that I've kind of remembered what was going on. And obviously it's about our main character Jess, who's in year 9, and she thinks she has the perfect life. She has great parents, she is dating a wonderful boyfriend, she's just got the lead role in the play Macbeth, and then something happens which kind of turns her world upside down, and it is basically about what happens from there. And like I said, I'm enjoying it. I remember liking this. I don't know whether to say the characters are a little bit more juvenile. I think some of them are a bit more off the rail, I guess. I think Jess's best friend is a lot more off the rail, but I guess they're different. And I don't think I'm going to gel and enjoy the characters quite in the same way that I did when I originally read this book. I think I read this book 2 times, maybe even 3 times when I first got it, because I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, obviously now that I'm older, the maturity of the characters I'm not going to like vibe with as much, because obviously they're like 14 years old, so I'm not going to like vibe with that as much, like the level of maturity and stuff. But I'm still looking forward to seeing what happens. I remember the majority of everything that happens, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes, and I'm just enjoying it. And like I said, I'm going to take my time with it. That's all my thoughts I have on it for now. So yes, I will try my best to update you guys with this book throughout. This is the longest book of all. It is 186 pages, so I should be able to finish it within the next couple of days. Let me just turn that light down because it's a bit bright. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this, see what I think, and like I said, I will try my best to update you guys with my thoughts on this a little bit more. I feel like there's a little bit more to discuss in this book. Not massively, but just a bit. So yes, that is my plan. That is my reading update. And I'm just really enjoying this vlog, so I hope you guys enjoyed it too, even though I'm not very good at updating you. But yes, so I'm going to go about my day now, and I will update you guys when I have done some more reading. So I am now over halfway through with 32C, That Is Me. I am on page 154, so I have around 30 pages left roughly, and I am really enjoying my reread of this. It's just such a fun story, and I actually had a look on Goodreads just out of nosying at some reviews because I was interested in seeing what people think, because this book was published in 2006, so obviously it has been out for quite a while, and I was just really interested to see what people think. And a lot of the reviews were where people had reread it from when they were younger, which was really interesting, and something that some of the reviews highlighted, which I guess was aware of, but I just didn't consciously form it like in my mind, if you see what I mean. That probably makes no sense, but anyway, that this book really shows the messiness of being a teenager, of being a 14-year-old in school, and I do totally get that, because I guess a lot of middle grade and like the really young side of YA, they don't generally show like the messiness of being a teenager, like how quite a lot of 14-year-olds, obviously, like with their relationships, whether it's romantic and with their friends, with the language that they use, like it includes some swearing, not serious swearing, but a bit, and talking about like very briefly touching on like sex and also drinking as well. Like that is something that teenagers do, and when I was younger I always thought I will always sympathise with teenagers because I will always, I know what it's like to be 14 years old. But as you get older you forget what it's like to be a teenager, especially when you enter adulthood. It's something that you kind of forget because you see them as these 14-year-olds as so young, and obviously 14-year-olds now are very different from 14-year-olds like me, like when I was 14 years old. Like it's changed so much, and I really like how it is portrayed, how like the messiness of just like with family and friends and relationships and growing up and school and all that sort of thing. I feel like it shows that really well, and like I said, like touching on those like more serious, slightly messier topics, including like drinking and sex and all that sort of thing, are touched, and also kind of your body changing and like body image and all that sort of thing isn't something that's generally touched on books like this, or that I personally read at any rate. So that's something that I really enjoyed about this book, and I really enjoy the Shakespeare aspect of this as well. I'm not a massive Shakespeare person. I have studied Macbeth in school. I didn't really enjoy studying any Shakespeare personally, but I did enjoy the factor so far of like Macbeth being included in this, because obviously it's a play that Jess is doing. Jess is Lady Macbeth, and I love how she kind of sees the similarities between herself and like Lady Macbeth, like in the story, and like how they kind of intertwine to the point where she actually finds it slightly scary, but how like close and how much they relate to each other. But I have really enjoyed that aspect as well, because I always love it when there's like plays and musicals that are involved in books. But yes, so that's what I'm doing, and that's my little update. I am probably going to finish this tonight as I really want to finish it, so I'll probably update you guys later today when I have finished it and give you my final thoughts. So it is a little bit later on, and I've just finished 32C That's Me by Chris Higgins, and I really enjoyed this. Also, I feel like this is definitely a more serious book in terms of the topics and the plots compared to the other two, but I really enjoyed this. I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't like it quite as much as I probably did when I first read it when I was in year 9, but I think it is a really fun book, and also a very relatable book for teenagers who are in year 9 or who are around that age in school. And I really enjoyed the Shakespeare aspect in it. To say that I am not a fan of Shakespeare personally, but I really enjoy it when books include like people doing Shakespeare's plays and all that sort of thing. I really love that, and kind of seeing how Jess's life kind of intertwines with Lady Macbeth's life as well, and kind of their similarities in like their own personal struggles and also like their lives and the people in their lives. I found that really interesting. But I've really enjoyed this, and I also, like I said before, I love like seeing the messiness of teenage life being represented and discussing things that aren't always generally discussed for teenagers like around this age. But yes, I have completed all 3 of these books, and I really enjoyed doing this video. I have not read these books for years, obviously. I haven't read them since I was probably in my early teens, and it's so lovely to revisit them and relive the memories. The nostalgia has been so strong from doing this, but I've really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to reread some more of the books that I did from my childhood. I definitely want to carry on with Sophie's stories and reread the other books in the Maddie Blue trilogy as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to film, and it was a lovely break after reading mental health books and mental health were fun, even though obviously that was very enjoyable. It's nice to read something a bit fun and a bit lighter. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like I said, it was a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to reread some more of my childhood favourite books in the future, and I think they're just a great little pick-me-up for whenever I need them. If you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more bookish videos from me, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you'll be noted every time I post a new video. As always, I will leave links to my social media along with links to my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!